Here with Coach Rev. What's good, Coach?
Everything is good, buddy.
How'd you get started in boxing?
Well, I've been in boxing since I was about 17, at the Olympia. I started under Jimmy Arthur, Reg Brown, during the time of Ruben Hurricane Carter, George Giardella, Roger Russell, Georgie Benton. I was a young boy at the time in the gym, and I've been in gyms ever since. I trained my first kid in 1969. Won the Golden Gloves, Italian kid by the name of Joe Renzi. He's also an MD now. He's a medical doctor at the time. From there, went to Passion Gymnasium. And I didn't see the pro career shortly. But then I was tossing between two opinions. Then I'm going to seminary, 4 years in seminary. That was my pro career. After that, I just became a coach.
Any notable fighters that you've trained?
Notable fighters would be pretty much Frank the Animal Fletcher. You have Anthony Junior Fletcher. You got Michael Ross. You got Leo Edwards. You have Jedi Nobles, Gerald the Nobles. Gerald Nobles, 27 wins, 22 KOs. You got Roger Matagua. I'm taking so many guys. I'm trying to think of some names now. That young girl fought for the championship of the world back in the early 2000s. Total package, Keisha Williams. Currently, like I said, I'm working with Eric Hunter, Isaiah Wise. I've had quite a few guys. I don't know whether you remember Leo Edwards. Knocked out Willie Wise. That was my guy. I've had a lot of kids. Membe Bakari out of Tanzania. The African Express was guys that I brought in from Tanzania that did well here in the United States. And now some of them are older guys working now. Roger is someplace in the city. I'm quite sure you remember Roger Matagua.
Yeah.
Roger Matagua was a kid that I started here in the States, and of course, time changes things. People move on. Roger moved on. Young Sonny Conto moved on. It's all good. I feel good when I see him because I can still see some of my work in him, So now, currently I'm working with my old friend, one of my coaches that come out of my old camp, Southwest Youth Center, Sloan Harrison. Been around forever. Sloan Harrison, Cornbread, I can go on. There's so many guys, man. We've seen so many kids. There are kids I can't even remember that's doing well. I've been pretty much a director or leader in these camps since 1972. Of my own place in 1972 after I graduated from Manor Bible Institute. And of course that started the pro thing with the kids. Nationals over a period of I don't know how many years now. We've had some like 17 nationals. We got a gym full of kids here now that are junior Olympic, the one at Junior Olympics. We're just busy. I got a passion for the sport, got a passion for people, and it's like building a house. Carpenter feel good when he step back and look at his own work. So when I see the kids materializing, they're getting better, I feel good about that. Whether they stay with me or not, that's their choice. Some guys see better things, higher heights or deeper depths. It's fine with me. I just do what I do.
With somebody with such an extensive coaching background, what do you think makes a fighter?
What makes a fighter? Well, first thing is you have to have the heart to do what you're called to do. A kid with heart don't necessarily need talent. You can teach him to be skillful. But if you don't have the heart for the sport, then pretty much you're only wasting your time.
Do you believe in building fighters from the ground up, or do you take on pros after they're already established?
Most of the kids I've built from the floor up. All my guys came through the Golden Glove, through the Nationals and what might. And of course, went on to be pros. Some guys are exceptional. When you speak of guys like Animal Fletcher only had 7 amateur fights.
Yeah?
He had 7 amateur fights, and in less than 2 or 3 years, he was a contender for the championship of the world. If in fact we didn't lose, I thought we won the decision between him and Wilfred Scipion. We had a contract already to fight Marvin Hagler. Of course, that's phenomenal for guys that come right off of Woodland Avenue out the streets and end up in the top 10. And he don't have a padded record. None of my kids got padded records. Didn't have money. We couldn't pay for it. We won fights. We did it the hard way. So, I feel good about what we have accomplished. My thing as a coach is not just to have champions. My thing as a coach is to keep kids off the street. Some of them good, some of them bad. When I say good and bad, I'm talking about whether they can fight or not. Every kid can come in the gym can't fight. There are kids that can fight, they don't want to be fighters. A good coach have to realize what you're working with. When a kid's dedicated and he feel good about himself being in here, I feel like my job is accomplished. If we can get him to feel good about himself. A kid coming here 40 pounds, 30 pounds overweight, and we can trim him down and he feels good about himself, we've already made something out of him. We did good. So, starting out coaching, as far as my career is concerned, I never had a desire to really be a coach. I was just a guy that would help people. And in helping people, it developed into being something else. My first avenue with young men on the street was to get them off the street. Us in the 80s and the 90s, there was the JBM guys that were killing each other. Young black kids was killing themselves, killing each other at an alarming rate. Excuse me for a minute. They was killing each other at an alarming rate. And I felt like, it may be something I can do. What can I do? So I started a gymnasium at 5226 Woodland Avenue on the Southwest Youth Center. And that's where everything started. That's where the Fletchers, that's where a lot of guys came along from that time. They came into existence from, they came from various, all over the city. They was all over the city, My thing was, if we can keep the kids off the street, we can keep them from killing each other. My preference wasn't to be a coach. I could fight. Matter of fact, I've been in these gyms all my life, you know what I mean? The likes of Bobby Watts and Cyclone Hart and all those guys. And my favorite guy was Stanley Hayward. At the time, I was at 19th and Reed and places like that. I boxed some of the better guys in the city. But of course, my preference was not to just be a prize fighter. When in seminary, my thoughts started changing. My whole outlook on life was changed. So I got all about boxing. How can I help somebody? So the closest thing I could do, the closest way to boxing for me from then on was either be a coach or leave the gym. So I chose to be a coach.
Philly's such a legendary fight town.
Say that again?
I said Philly's such a legendary fight town.
Yes, it is.
But do you feel like it gets its just due nowadays? Historically, everybody knows the best fighters come out of Philly. But nowadays, I feel like we don't get the love that we did back in like the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, like, the era that you were coming up in.
Well, you got a lot of venues now. I'm thinking I can answer that question. In the 60s, 70s, when I come along, the Blue Horizon was pretty much the capital as far as boxing was concerned in Philadelphia, or the arena. And the arena was gone. And if you was anybody want to be showcased, you want to be showcased, somebody would have to give you an opportunity to fight at the Blue Horizon. You know what I mean? So today, we still got great fighters. We got great fighters all over the world. But Philadelphia, I'm a Philadelphian, naturally. I feel like some of the toughest guys that ever put on a pair of gloves came from Philadelphia. You know, I could just name a few, you know what I'm saying, that came through this city. You know, there are guys that can fight that you would never know anything about. That's been in these gymnasiums, you know what I mean? Everybody that can fight is not well known or not known. Some guys choose to be prize fighters, not just to be in the game, you know. So you got guys, you got kids that come along in his time, your time. You got thousands of guys around. Philadelphia, you know, when I came along, you only had a few gyms in the city. You had Champs, you had Joe Frazier's, you had Executioners, of course. You had 26 and Madison, of course, my own place, Southwest Youth Center. And we were the top gyms in the city. I mean, maybe even in the state, I don't know. You know, the state of Pennsylvania I'm talking about. So it's pretty hard to say where all the good fighters come from. Yeah, I remember years ago, anywhere across the Mason-Dixie line, you could almost feel sure I'm going to win a fight if I went that way. It's no longer that way. There are kids coming out of Biloxi, Mississippi, Tennessee, you know, Atlanta, you know, places that you wouldn't think of boxing that can fight today because you got coaches that have, how do I put it, migrated from the North, from the Midwest. They got skills. You got guys like Don Turner down south, came out of Philly. You got good coaches all around now. Now, I'm now in my 70s. I'm in my 70s now, and a lot of the old coaches that gave us good boxing skill or the science. The good science is pretty much gone because a lot of them are dead. You got Wesley Mozart, you got Jimmy Arthur, old man Milt Bailey. You got men like that are gone now. You know, Yank Durham and men like that. When I came along, they had the science. They had the kind of training skill. Understand that to teach a kid, you know, good defense, how to move his feet, head, the whole nine, to make him a total package. Today, most of the coaches come up in the gym that might have been fighters, and I think some of the science that we had is missing.